What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 84. I am your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Old man, look at my line. I'm a lot like you were.
And Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
All right, guys, we got the New York crew in the house tonight. Only guys here. Brett, he's taking care of Rachel. She's not feeling too hot. So that's that. And then Brian, he already told us that he may be on and off with Throwdown in the coming future because he has a new job. He got a promotion, so big thumbs up for Brian. But at the same time, promotion also means more responsibilities, more time. So remember, he has to do this show literally at 3 a.m. his time. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So just us, the E3 crew too, but we'll talk about that when we need to talk about that.
Yes.
Right. We actually didn't get a ton of questions tonight, which is both good and bad, I guess. But let's get into it. Number one, the final stage boss, as always. Do any of you own a 4K TV or plan to buy one soon? No and no.
Nope and no.
Yeah. Same answer.
It's like, here's my thing. The reason I'm not worried about 4K is because there's not enough programming out there that supports 4K. TV's still in 1080p. Games are still in 1080p. Why should I upgrade my TV? There's nothing that supports it.
The only things that are 4K are only really Blu-rays, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
so no point for that.
Blu-rays and maybe you can buy digital films that way, but you ain't really.
Yeah,
you can watch YouTube.
There's no reason for early adoption, especially now that the TV companies are pushing 4K. Yo, those nice LCDs are real cheap now. I'd rather get one of those. I'm fine. My PlayStation can't output 4K. My Xbox One can't output it either, and I'm not buying into NEO or whatever anytime soon. So I don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this on the show before. I only buy TVs when I need to upgrade my console, right? My console is not getting upgraded anytime soon, and I'm pretty sure even the PS4 NEO or whatever is going to be 10. Actually, that's going to support 4K, but again, that's not enough. I need everything or most things to be in whatever medium it is. You know what I mean? So absolutely no point in getting 4K right now.
The thing is that it'll support 4K, but I don't think it's going to be 4K like native 4K.
No,
it's just going to be an upscale.
Yeah. So again, no point. No point whatsoever. All right, moving on. Do you think Deadpool 2 will have a bigger budget? I hope it probably will, but I hope they don't put too much of a bigger budget. I think having a smaller budget helped the movie out a lot. You know what I mean?
Well, it allowed them. You realize how long it took them to make that film? Like
it took them a lot,
the actual filming of it. It was literally filmed. It was literally released the same year it was filmed.
Yeah.
That's still unheard of for.
I doubt it was all filmed in January, dude.
It was. All filmed in January?
No, you said it was released the same year it was filmed.
Yeah.
The movie came out on February 14th. I doubt they filmed it in January.
No, but I think it was, like they probably did it like in. They said
over a year.
It was weird because they only did it. They said they only took like 8 weeks to actually film the actual film.
Yeah, but I mean that's commonplace. Even the last Star Wars movie was filmed in about less than time than that actually.
Mm-hmm. It was like no, excuse me. This was 4 weeks. It was like 4 weeks they did it. They did it because he was saying, because I was listening to the commentary. He said it was like 4 weeks for the film, and it was like everything was like super lean. They just went through and did everything. I have a feeling though, as far as the because the way animatics and things are done, I'm sure that all the special effects sequences, they were already being worked on, by then. And the thing is that, granted, Deadpool, not for nothing, is not a special effects heavy film.
Yeah, it isn't. I mean, it has a bunch of effects, but it's not like
it has a bunch of effects, but I mean, the bigger effects are toward the end. And the thing is that there's only really 2 set piece action films, and one of the set piece action sequences is literally spread out through most of the movie. That sequence where they're on the actual freeway, because it was interspersed with those flashbacks.
Yeah, my only concern is when the budget goes up, there's gonna be more meddling, because that always happens.
Yeah, and that ruins Fox movies right there.
That's why I kind of want them to keep the budget relatively low, because as soon as if they put $200 million, Fox is gonna get their fingers on it. deeply, you
Yeah.
know, and that's gonna fuck up the movie potentially. So we don't want that.
Yeah, because it was really at a point where it's like they don't care. It's like,
Yeah, they don't
okay.
care. Like 60 million, they don't give a shit, you know.
Hmm.
And it ended up making like 700 million, 800 million. It was a crazy amount.
Did amazing numbers, and it was a really cheap film to make.
Yeah, exactly. But so yeah, I'm pretty sure they will raise the budget, but I just hope that they don't raise it by too much. Keep it lean, you know. All right. Last question from Final Stage Boss. I'm hearing the PS4 got no games rhetoric. How long do you think this will go on? Forever? The Xbox fanboys are crazy, bro. They're gonna keep this shit going no matter what. You know, because to them the only games that count are AAA exclusives. Indies don't count. What's it? Indies don't count. Third parties don't count. It's like, listen, go to any store, right? Go to the PS4 shelf. Plenty of games there, just like with the Xbox, plenty of games there. But both sides, I'm going to say too, both sides say, oh, the other side doesn't have any games because apparently in their little world, and it is a little world, only AAA exclusives count, which is insane. You guys are like limiting yourselves like on purpose for no fucking
Well, I
reason.
mean, to be honest, you used to think a lot like that too.
Yeah, but I was an idiot back then, you know? I'll freely admit that. You know, you guys are being dumb as shit right now. You're being brainless fanboys. There's a ton of fucking games on. I play my PS4 every day. You're gonna tell me that what have I been playing? Just Air? You know? You're fucking dumb. You're dumb as shit. So stop it. But no, it's not gonna end. It's not gonna end because these guys always need to.
No, I mean it's just that's the way it is. It's like they see, it's you know what it is. It's really the fact that there are no games that they want to play for the other guys. You know, it's like, oh, there's nothing on Xbox I want to play, so there's no games for it.
Yeah, but it's dumb too. It's like, but there are. But the thing is, they literally say there are no games for the system. No, there are a ton of games for each system. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that
What's
is a false
hilarious?
statement.
A PS4 exclusive just came out, and yet
Two.
they say there's no. Oh, two.
Yeah,
Wait,
Ratchet and
Uncharted
Clank
and Ratchet and
and
Clank. Yeah,
Uncharted.
okay. In short order, came out exclusive PS4, but yet somehow PS4 has no games. If you don't want to play it, that's fine. You have Xbox. Go enjoy it.
Yeah, basically, you know, that's what it is. Like, oh no, because they go, this thing has no games. Hey, here's games. Oh, I don't want to play those. So it's like, which is it? See, they're
Yeah, like
always
I'm not
moving,
interested. Yeah.
yeah,
So, like,
they're always moving the benchmark. You know, it's fucking dumbasses.
well, I mean, here's the one thing. It's like, especially, for me, it's like you're always trying to find, if you're going to invest in a console, you're always trying to find the things that keep you interested for that console. So, I mean, I can somewhat see there, like, like as of now, for me, there's not enough reasons for me to own an Xbox, but there definitely is some reasons for me to get one. But I can't say that there's no games for it. It's just that there's not a lot that I'm interested in.
Yeah, because saying there's no games for it is a false statement.
Exactly.
Yeah, these guys are just stupid. So yeah, they're never gonna stop with that nonsense. Oh, they'll always keep going with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next question, Mr. Him Deal. Is it just me, or did the dam of games just break? I need to take some vacation from work just to play all these games. Yeah, like in the last couple of weeks, we had Dark Souls 3. Then, literally this week, we had Uncharted 4 and fucking Doom. So I'm not going to say the dam is broken. I would say you need 5 games within that span of time for that, but it's probably the most amount of games we've had in a while, as far as like the big games go. But I still say last gen had way more of a flood than this gen, even with 3 games coming out within 2 weeks. But maybe that's just me. What about you guys? Do you feel like dam has broken?
I don't really pay attention to the dam because I mean, Doom.
Well,
I'm not fully. Was that?
I said you have different gaming habits though than most.
Yeah, I have very different gaming habits. So I mean, like, I don't really. Yeah, I don't feel like it. Again, I'm a different case. I don't really feel like that a dam is broken. I just know that there's options. More of some things that can be played. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? I know you're interested in all of these 3 games that just came out. You bought like 2 of them.
I kind of feel the dam has ruptured, but
Yeah.
not broken. But yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely feel overwhelmed because like Uncharted and Doom in the same week put me in a tough position because I'm trying to save a little money here. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I want to play both of these games, and I wanted both of them, but I can't go hog wild. There's no way I can play both these games this week. So, and I had to make a hard decision, and I don't want to spoil Uncharted for Kristen. She wants to play the old games. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hold off Uncharted right now. I'll just get Doom. So I got Doom, and I have to clear off space on my PS4 because I couldn't install it. But yeah, I can't wait to get into that. Ratchet and Clank I wanted to play, but I was playing Dark Souls. Dark Souls 3 consumed my life, and I was playing a couple other things like Dead Star and whatnot. But there was a lot of stuff to play, and I just didn't have time to play everything. I still don't. I still haven't played everything. So yeah, I really think there was a nice release of games that I was interested in. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I play through all these games, but I have to rush them basically. Like with Dark Souls 3, like what I did with Bloodborne was I would always like beat each boss by myself, right? And then on the second playthrough, I play with buddies. But this time I'm like, listen, I ain't got time for this shit. So I would always co-op with the bosses just so I could beat the game fast. With Uncharted 2, I rushed through that so I could play Doom, and now I'm trying to rush Doom 2, So it's kind of shitty in that way, But it always happens like that too with games. It's like you'll have this drought for months, and then all of a sudden every game comes out within a span of 2 weeks. It's insane how that works, And it's every time, and it's always not even relegated to the holidays. It always happens. Like in spring, there's always that big chunk of games, and then in the fall you get this big chunk of games, And then there's nothing in between each season. I
Well,
wish it was spread it out.
even like fall used to be that. I mean, spring used to be that weird point, too, where
You
you
mean-
didn't get very many games.
Yeah, but now now spring has a ton of games because they're all the leftovers from the fall, from the holiday season, you know. But yeah, it's pretty nuts. So hopefully, because the thing is, I want to get a platinum in Uncharted, and on Doom I may try to get the platinum too. But who knows? I think now from this point on, we're not going to really have any games for a bit, so we should be good enough time to catch up, because I like. The only game I'm kind of sort of interested in, but I'm gonna have to see how it is. Mirror's Edge that comes out June. I probably won't even touch that until July, to be honest. So I have a good amount of time. But for me personally, within another week or two, no games because pre-E3 preparations. Probably for all of us. So yeah, games is gonna be very, very hard to come by. Gaming time. I was telling Chris before the show, I'm like, dude, I didn't get to play any Doom today at all. No fucking time. It's crazy, and it's Sunday, and no time.
Because you were literally writing the Uncharted review.
Yeah, I got thank you for the plug, Manny. So the Uncharted review is gonna come for you guys tomorrow, Monday. It's done. It was one of the easier fucking reviews to do too, which is nice. I've been having a little bit of a writer's block lately, which is very annoying. My writer's block, I don't know what the natural like definition is for writer's block, but I think it's like you literally hit a wall, right? I think it's something like that. With me, it's like I'm going uphill and I'm dragging two giant cinder blocks. I'm still moving. It's just hard, So it was nice to like kind of shake all that shit off and go downhill this time. That Uncharted review was fucking easy. Even though I had to set aside an hour to play the multiplayer because I completely forgot I didn't touch multiplayer. Fuck, I guess I gotta play this shit. But yeah, we got a good chunk of games now, so it's all good. All right, next question. He goes, I'm totally into Transformers. Any thoughts on MP28? And my last purchase was a Polygon. Be jealous, dude. Those are knockoffs. Those are fucking knockoffs. Son.
They're also really expensive knockoffs, man.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking at
Yeah.
MP28, which is a fucking Rodimus Prime.
Yeah.
$74, and then he bought a Polygon, which is Megatron. That shit was like 164. Son, no. Like, I'm not gonna pay that much money for a fucking knockoff. Like, it looks great. Don't get me wrong. It looks really nice, but no.
I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of those guys do better job. A lot of those semi knockoff ones, they do a lot better of a job compared to the what Hasbro and what the Japanese company do. Like you'll never get a Megatron that good. I'm
not disagreeing with you, but at the end of the day, it's still a knockoff.
No, man. But you saw that Judge Dredd I have, right?
Yeah.
That's it. How is that shit a knockoff? That shit looks as good as as a Hot Toys piece.
But it still is a knockoff, though. It's not the real official.
It's not the real official thing. But to be honest, sometimes those companies don't do good jobs.
Yeah, it's kind of like my whole stance with mods. It's like, yeah, a mod could be cooler than anything the developer created, but it's still a mod. It's still like.
And the thing is, a lot of times, especially with those Transformers, they don't make Megatron as a gun anymore.
Yeah, what do they make him now?
He's a tank.
Oh, crazy!
Yeah, this one is a gun.
The gun, at least in the United States, they don't make him as a gun because he was a toy gun. He was a freaking Luger.
But I mean, these look nice. Like, I like the different poses they have this guy in. Like, it's all from Transformers the movie. Like, he has the fishing rod, and I guess he comes with Daniel because he's holding him.
Yeah.
Well, the Rodimus, that one is not a.
That's Hot Rod.
It's Hot Rod. Okay.
Yeah, the Hot Rod one is not a knockoff. They actually made that one, and that one's actually really good. He's actually So what happens when they made those Transformers? They called the Masterpiece Transformers. I'm guessing, as I remember, those figures, they're all made in proportion. What they did was they kind of when they made the Rodimus Prime one, they also gave you the ability to turn him into Hot Rod. But the thing is that he's too big to be Hot Rod. Because Hot Rod is supposed to, a Rodimus Prime is actually supposed to be the same size as Optimus Prime, and Hot Rod is normal car size.
Interesting.
So, but what they did in that, they literally just made a giant Hot Rod that you could stick the Rodimus Prime backing on. So what they did this time is like now you can have the Masterpiece Rodimus Prime with his Rodimus Prime face down. And you can have Hot Rod, who's supposed to fit inside of Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean,
all right. Yeah,
I mean, these are really detailed. They're just really expensive. Like,
I
mean, you really have to love Transformers.
Yeah, really
I only bought one Masterpiece one, which is that scale, that large scale, and I have like a Optimus Prime back, and just the shelf if you can see back there.
Well, I will say I am jealous. He said be jealous. I am jealous because as a kid, I never got Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only Transformer back when I was a kid that I was missing. I had Shockwave. I had all the Decepticons. I think I had all the Autobots at the time. I never got Jetfire though. My cousin had Jetfire. That son of a bitch. I
think isn't Jetfire supposed to be a robot? It's a Macross plane.
Yeah, but they sold him. Like, he was limited. He was very limited. But yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, wow. Megatron is or Apollyon. Yeah. He's $165.
Yeah, that's the normal price for those things, and those things are big. They're the size of 1/6 scale figures, like the Hot Toys figures. So those things are pretty big. And they can all transform, and they all have a lot of nice jointing systems. But the one thing about that Megatron that he's talking about is that it's a super good one. It's better than the one that they made in Japan, by the official company. Because what happens is that when you transform him, he actually looks like the way he looks in the show, as opposed to kind of this weird skinny version of himself. Because there's certain parts of the robot that don't fit. It's obviously they built a robot, based on what the robot looks like, but it doesn't really fit together. That's why if you ever look at the Transformers, like their transformations kind of don't make much sense. Like they're kind of like twisting around and like it's like some of them don't actually transform the way the toys transform.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a cheat that they used to do.
Oh man! All right. Last question here. If you could choose between a 4K TV or a new PC, which one would you choose and why?
New PC.
New PC.
Yeah, new PC. Like again, we refer to our first question. I think that's a simple one right there. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Mike Madden. Now, Mike, man, we love you, man. But these kind of questions is like, you realize how many games we each own? Like, we're not going to go through each game, like, through our entire catalog just to look for this stuff. But anyway, his question is, how many physical games do you own with a white male on the cover? without counting sports games and the games where the character has a mask or a helmet. He goes, I have 4. The question comes from what I read on a Eurogamer article. They were going to have a black woman on the cover of Halo. Basically, they one of the guys from Fable, he wanted to have a black woman on the cover of Fable 3. Microsoft was like, no, we can't have that. Like, a woman is bad enough. A black woman, nope, that ain't happening. So he wanted to know how many white games do we have with black males. Dude, I own like physical games, and I'm counting my entire collection, everything. Probably a little over 200. I'm not gonna go count.
Well, the thing is, you can kind of like, is he asking for how many have a black character on the front?
No, white.
No, white male.
I mean, that's like 90% of your fucking titles.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go most of them.
It's gonna be most of them. I mean, to be honest, everybody would. Let's just call a spade a spade. Having these sorts of things on covers, which is sad to say, for some reason doesn't pushes a certain type of people away from games, which is unfortunate. You can't have you can't have a black character on the cover, or even a female character. A lot of those games tend to not to do so well, just for the plain fact of that, because a lot of the people playing these games are kind of
Well, look, the majority of people who buy games are white males. Let's just be honest here. They're going to see a cover, and this is back in 2010, right? We're not where we are now when we're about to have a Black Panther movie with 95% black actors. This is 2010, 6 years ago. So think about it like this. This is probably proposed 2008, maybe 10 years ago, right? That's the time when the whole industry was dominated by white people. You think Microsoft was going to let that fly? It doesn't matter what you think, if it was right or wrong. I personally think it's stupid, but you got to look at it from a business standpoint, as fucked up as it may be. I understand why they did it. It's stupid, it's fucked up, but I get it. You know? That's just how it is.
It stinks that we live in a world where people care about the character portrayed on the cover.
Yeah, I mean,
if the character is cool, then the character is cool. I remember I actually was on the Warzone like over on Friday, and I just popped on, and literally Torrance was talking about that same thing. Well, essentially, showing the covers that actually have of these games that actually have a black character not facing away, not doing and they're the only one on the cover, and it's very short list.
Yeah, it's funny.
Like even with the game Grand Theft Auto, what was it? San Andreas.
Yeah, with CJ.
That officially doesn't have CJ on the cover.
No, it doesn't. It has
montage. It has a montage of a bunch of different characters on there.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny you mentioned the Warzone, because I was actually on the Weapon Wheel podcast talking about the same thing, Yeah. And that's what I said on the show. It's like, you got to understand the time frame when this happened, Even now in 2016, it'd be a little iffy. Companies would be like, I don't know about this, And you're right. There's still a large segment of gamers, and let's just be real, who will see a black woman on the cover and be like, oh, it's one of these type of games. Fuck this, Even though you could easily play the have them play the game, right? And they'll love it, and you show them the cover. Oh, never mind. I don't want to. It's like, you just like the game. It's like, no, but I'm gonna just move on to something else. There's a lot of fucking racism. And I'm not talking about like overt racism and stuff, like, and even subconscious racism. People are just wired a certain way. I mean, look at Remember Me. That game was a great seller, right? Black woman. No one bought that fucking game.
Yeah, she's like a half black woman on the cover.
Yeah, and then Microsoft brought up this example, again, kind of fucked up, but I understand where they're coming from. They said, what was the biggest flop that Disney has had lately? Princess and the Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog, yeah.
He goes, do the math on why that failed. And you know what? Again, fucked up, but it's true. White people were not trying to see no black princess. That's just how it is. So kind of fucked up, but again, can't help it. That's just
we live in a world that some people have these prejudices against what's on the cover of something. Yeah. Just because a certain type of character is on the cover doesn't mean the game is any less good than if it has a guy with a fucking gun, or some white dude with a gun. I think that's part of the reason why they don't a character like Master Chief works, is because you don't know what he looks like underneath that.
Yeah, exactly. Even one of the examples we brought up was Battlefield 1 because that does have a black guy on the cover, right, front and center. The only thing is he's surrounded by a bunch of explosions. Kind of hard to tell what his skin color is. They still do shit like that. They still subtly hide.
They still subtly hide. Like you look at the game The Suffering. The Suffering, both Suffering games have a black protagonist. But they did all kinds of goofy stuff in it. Like in the first Suffering game, they have him sitting on an electric chair, right? So you can't really tell if he's a black guy or not.
And even with the Walking Dead game, the main dude was a black guy who was really front and center. They put the little girl on there.
They put the little girl on there.
It's crazy. All right. So let's move on here. Fern Gully. He goes, I wish Brian was here for this one. Is the racing genre dead? If so, do you think a Gran Turismo can resurrect it? I mean, seriously, when is the last time you played Forza 6 or Need for Speed? I played Need for Speed over the winter vacation, and I got the platinum for it. That's the last game I platinum. No, the racing genre is not dead at all, dude. You have Forza, you have Need for Speed, you had fucking The Crew. You had was it Project Cars? You got a bunch of these other kind of racing games coming out. It's not dead at all. It's not as big as it used to be.
Yeah, I think that's what the real maybe not question is, but like the thing is, it's that they're not doing the numbers that they used to do anymore.
Yeah, that can't be debated. Obviously, it isn't, but it's not dead. It's still very much around.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see it going away. They would not be continuing to make Need for Speed or Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is always a massive undertaking, right? So if the racing genre was dead, Polyphony wouldn't even be still working on that shit.
Yeah,
I just think for us, like, I know Brian's a big racing guy, right? He would probably best answer this question, but I don't play a lot of racing games anymore. But that I can't speak for anyone else. I know people who love Forza and like Need for Speed, but I'm not one of them.
I do think though releasing a Forza game every year waters it down a little bit. Where it's essentially like okay, it's at least with a Gran Turismo you get it like every 6 or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
You're still hungry for that. Releasing a game, constantly releasing a game that says Forza or something like that, I feel like it waters down the brand. They really need to take their time and release, release that all-encompassing Forza every whatever amount of years.
Yeah. Oh, and adding to this conversation, because Need for Speed is another one of those annual franchises. They're pulling that thing out where they're going to take a year off.
Exactly, because they're watering down their brand. If you're not even changing up the formula and just kind of doing the same things over and over again, even though racing is considered a sport, you can't constantly throw out racing games every year and expect people to buy them, because it's like, wait a minute, I already fucking bought a Need for Speed game.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's not dead. It's just definitely not as big as it used to be. All right.
And listen, they need to stop with this fucking Need for Speed shit. They need to get themselves out of fucking Burnout game.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Put out the Burnout. That's
put
the
out
shit.
A Burnout game.
We haven't had Burnout since last gen. Give us another Burnout, please.
Exactly.
Shit. All right.
See, that's the thing you could do, where it's like, okay, you give Need for Speed a break, but no, you fucking throw out a Burnout game, bam.
I'll buy that shit.
I think that's what I think that's what the real issue is that we're getting too many games, too many racing games with the same name. Need for Speed, Forza. We're getting these sorts of racing games. They're not that much different from each other.
Yeah. And then
Forza, the two Forza games, one's an arcade game and one's like one's more like Gran Turismo, very simulation-y. But again, you hear these two games and you just think, oh, it's the same game just made over again. Not that it's, oh, this is the arcadey one and this is the other one.
Yeah, and then we also had Drive Club that came out last year, but now that studio's gone.
Right.
But yeah, no, definitely not dead. Actually, we had a lot of racing games actually last year. If you really think about it, it was like 5 big racing games, so it's definitely not
The
dead.
one thing about racing games, and I hate to say this, but they're the easiest games to make look pretty
Yeah,
because
totally.
all you really you don't need to deal with you'd have to deal with AI, but you don't need to deal with making human characters look lifelike. You just need to make pretty environments and pretty cars.
Yeah, it's funny talking about that because remember back in the X Play days, right? It seemed like they were reviewing a racing game every episode.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, definitely not as crazy as it used to be back in the day, for sure.
And also a lot of people are just into a lot of people are more into shooters and things like that.
MOBAs and all that
To
nonsense.
be honest, I want a nice car combat game. I love those games.
Yeah, bring back Road Rash, man.
Yeah, bring back Road Rash.
Bring back Road Blasters.
Yeah.
Yes, bringing it back. Right. Next question. He goes, "Crap Gamer and the others try to prove a console war still exists and are now saying, and I quote, 'The ponies can eat my shit. Your console will be underpowered now, all due to a rumor that the new Xbox will be 5 times more powerful than the Neo. Do you think the 5 times more powerful than new Xbox will be priced the same as the Neo or priced at a loss to Microsoft?'" First of all, where is all this coming from? All this shit is just rumor and speculation at this point. None of this is concrete. So how are you guys thumping your chest about your console being better than another console that hasn't even come out yet? It's stupid.
Here's the funny part of it. It's like, yeah, and you gotta spend the money to buy a new fucking console.
Yeah, either way, it's funny because these Xbox guys are going, haha, you have to buy a new PlayStation 4. Your machine isn't that powerful. But they're like, a new Xbox, yeah! So it's the same thing. You guys are all dumb as shit. Seriously.
Yeah, number one thing is that nobody's, in general, Sony's made it clear as to what the new Neo is going to be. It's
But
not.
they haven't yet. Sony hasn't made it
Well, no,
official
I mean
yet.
they've at least made it clear as to far. Well, didn't they say like the Neo was like it wasn't going to do that other than some solidifying frame rates and the resolution. It won't be doing anything extra. You won't be getting that much extra over what you got before.
Yeah, but again, the point is that's still speculation, just like this new Xbox thing is still speculation. So
Okay.
they're basically comparing two speculative machines. That is the height of stupid.
Yeah.
You're literally comparing two machines that aren't even official yet. Why are you guys wasting your time with this nonsense? I don't get it.
I really just don't like. This again. It's like they want their system to win so badly, but the thing is that it's not about winning. It's more about competition.
But it is to them. It is about winning.
Yeah, they just want the better system, and yeah, I think that's an admission of that you guys have made now that you realize the Xbox One was really underpowered compared to PS4. Since you are now screaming that, oh, now you guys are underpowered, so now you admit it finally in your rantings that you had the less powerful console. You don't realize how stupid you are, and you just admitted that.
Yeah, totally, man. And it's funny because this all stems from the fact that the Xbox One is underpowered, right? What do we hear at the beginning of this generation? The secret sauce, right? The hidden power of the Xbox that that nobody knows about. All this dumb shit. Now that all that's been knocked away, that's all been disproven. They're trying to look for the next thing. What's the next thing? A more powerful Xbox. You're admitting that your system has utterly failed, and you're looking forward to the next one.
Hey guys, listen. You realize that the original Xbox 360, was not as powerful as the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, and it still destroyed it.
And it still destroyed it. Remember that there's another situation. PlayStation 2 compared to Xbox, the original Xbox. PlayStation 2 was totally underpowered, but it trounced the original Xbox.
Yeah.
So power has nothing to do with it. You know what it has to do with? Games.
Yes. These guys
You
are so
have the
full of
games
shit.
that everybody wants to play. You have the franchises that everybody wants to play. And the thing is, the original, not to also say this, but they did have Sony did have the luxury of actually having their console out before the original Xbox.
But that doesn't matter.
But that still doesn't matter.
The Wii U was out before Xbox One or PS4.
So, but in general, what is like? Does the console have the games that people want to play? And that's the thing.
Yeah, it all comes out to the games, but again,
Yeah.
these guys say the other system has no games.
Right. Well, it's like whatever you need to sleep at night, guys. Whatever you need to say, right? And let's be real. Let's look at the things that Sony did right that Microsoft did wrong. Number one, Dan Matrick coming out at E3. That guy should have shut the fuck up because he just ruined everything for everyone. And then, secondly, the console with the easiest control scheme this generation was PlayStation 4. No gimmicks like the Wii U, no Kinect, no nothing. You just had a controller in the system. That won this generation. No gimmicks, right? Bless Nintendo, no fucking gimmicks. But now Xbox has learned that the Kinect is not even a thing anymore. So I'm hopefully this new system won't even freaking have it. But it's people just want to play their games, right? And that's what won out. Simplicity won out this generation, I think.
Yeah, gaming won out instead of gimmicks and shit. People just want games. And the PS4, say what you will about the PS4, it was always marketed day one as a gaming console. It wasn't marketed as a mass media machine. Like with fucking Xbox One, that was the biggest thing. It's like, oh, TV, sports. That's all they talked about during that fucking conference. They must have dedicated 10 minutes to actual games because they weren't caring about games. Games were just a secondary thing. Even if you own an Xbox, you need to admit that the way that the whole interface is set up is not for gaming. It is set up for everything but gaming. That's the first thing I noticed when I bought an Xbox. I'm like, why is it so hard to play a game on this thing? You got to go through all these hoops. Yet playing a video is easy as shit. It's crazy.
It's to be honest, let's just face it, guys. You have a TiVo that plays games.
Basically, that's what it is.
Uh-oh.
That's what the Xbox is.
If Microsoft wasn't so busy trying to expand their multimedia hold on everybody, and just making a great game console that just so happens to do the other good things, just like the Xbox 360, we wouldn't have these problems.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, but yeah, you guys are just pathetic with this shit. Like, you're always trying to find something else. Like, okay, how can we beat the PlayStation 4 now?
Number one, the main thing, just buy the fucking games. Go out instead of complaining about how they did this or this is wrong. Actually support your fucking console.
Yeah, how about that? Let's talk about that real quick, right? You had Quantum Break coming in 7th place on NPDs, right? Why you guys are always talking about how your games are better, how your games this, that, and the other thing. Even Tomb Raider. Why aren't you buying your games? How about that? Instead of actually just giving them lip service, how about you give them money instead? Sony guys are fucking speaking with their wallets. They're buying these fucking games. You guys are talking all this shit about how PS4 has no games, yet people are buying games on PS4. You motherfuckers ain't buying shit on Xbox.
I mean,
Let's be honest now.
What was it? Was it Ratchet and Clank came in at number 2?
Number 2. And then the other games would they sell more on PS4. Dudes are buying games. Xbox dudes are not buying games. They talk more shit than PlayStation guys, but they buy less games. How ironic is that? Go ahead, Chris.
The rhetoric doesn't match the reality. It's like how well PS4 has done, how well it is doing now. The number of third-party games bought more. It just correlates because there's more PS4s out in the market. The third-party games that are on both systems obviously sell better on PS4 because more people are playing on there. And for your exclusives, exactly as Tony said, you said you have the best exclusives. Why aren't you buying them? Why did Rise of the Tomb Raider sell so poorly when it's such a good game?
And it's funny because, this question did bring up Crap Gamer. Even this guy, probably one of the biggest Xbots on the planet, is yelling at the other Xbots for not buying games. Even he's saying that because it's right. Why is it that all these games, right, you have fucking... the only one that sold, ironic enough, the only game that sold a lot for Microsoft's generation was fucking Gears of War. The fucking remaster.
The remaster, yeah.
They didn't buy Ori and buy Forest. They didn't buy Sunset Overdrive. They didn't buy fucking Rise. They didn't buy Rise of Tomb Raider. They didn't buy fucking Quantum Break. You guys don't buy games. Yet you tout games all day, every day. Which is it, It's fucking dumb. I swear, man, the Xbox guys are the worst, man. Like Xbox fans are cool, they're fine. Xbots are terrible. You know, they're like the worst of the worst, man. I swear. Like the shit I see on Twitter every day, man. It's like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, I know PlayStation has this bad apples too, but they're not anywhere near as close as fucking Xbox, man. And I know I may sound salty, but I was reading a lot of dumb shit today. It's like, you mother, really, guys? Wow. You know, and then they claim, oh no, you're biased. So it's like, look at the fucking mirror, dude. You know? Oh man. Anyway, move on to the last question here by Mr. Ferngully. He goes, what the fuck is up with the Doom reviews? Have any of you guys played it? Is it any good? So the reason he asked that is because there are no Doom reviews out there.
Well, there's a reason behind that one.
Yeah, because you know, Bethesda felt like, hey, listen, there's a lot of features that are only unlocked on day one, right? For server shit, right? Snap map and the multiplayer. We want you guys to play the full game, so we're gonna send your reviews codes out on Friday. That's why we haven't seen any reviews out yet. So it's not indicative it's a bad game. It's just they want you to play the full thing. As for the second part of the question, have you guys played it? Yes, I played it for 2 days now, and I fucking love it. This shit is Doom. It is like full on in your face Doom. You know, but it's modern at the same time. I love how they added all this new shit to it. You know, like jumping and the glory kills, but it still like intrinsically feels like a Doom game. It has that same speed as Doom. You know, like the weapons feel Doomish. You know, very, very good stuff. I'm loving this game a lot. You know, I only regret that I wasn't able to play it today, but hopefully this week I can get some good time with it, man. Like, dude, everything, you know, even like the fucking levels, like they have, you know, the exit and shit, you know, all that old Doom shit. This game is the most metal game I've played in a while too, man. Like, I'm not just talking about the music either. It's just like, it's just so hardcore and brutal, man. Like, it's just built to be played fast and crazy. I fucking love that shit, man. And Chris, I know you got it, man. I know you're salivating, man.
Yeah, I can't wait. Once I get my my storage situation sorted out, I'm playing that shit.
Man, just delete shit, bruh.
Yeah, I know. I gotta clear off some shit, but I gotta clear off a lot of shit.
Yeah, just
I had,
don't
like, no
delete,
space.
just don't delete PT either.
No, that is that has a special place forever.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, it's for me, it's easy. It's like, okay, I don't play this, and that anymore. You're gone.
Yeah, you know? I deleted Mad Max again.
Again.
It's the second time I've deleted Mad Max from my console.
Oh.
I just can't. I really want to play it, but at the same time, it's one of those fucking open world busy work games. It's like you gotta go to the other side and kill about 10 of these guys, and then bring down these towers. And I'm like, oh, come on, can I just be Mad Max and just salvage some shit? Why do I have to do things for you? Why are you sending me out to do things for you?
Hilarious. But yeah, Doom, you know, if you're a fan of old school Doom, definitely gotta check this shit out. It's fucking awesome. All right, next up, Mr. Killex 214. Hey Chris, this one's for you, man. He goes, this is for Chris. Why does the word Nintendo turn you into a Super Saiyan? On Throwdown 82, I was yelling, he's over 9,000.
Man, I don't even know what I sounded like. I know it was mad. I think that was when Mike was on.
Yeah.
And we were talking about NX and stuff, because Nintendo just keeps disappointing and keeps fucking it up. And if I didn't care, I you know, as a gamer, you get passionate about stuff, right? And Nintendo has a long history with all of us. So to see them just fuck up so bad over and over, it just wears on me. I gave 5 years of my life to those guys, worked my ass off, you know, in the marketing and stuff. And just to see, they just keep throwing away opportunities, or they just do things wrong, or they do things that make no sense. And it just pisses me off. It makes me mad, because it's like I invested time in it, and then as a fan, I've invested years in them. All of us have at some point or another, probably. Yeah. And you know, I think I was yelling about Star Fox and maybe what the NX. I don't remember, but it's just the hubris and all this stuff, and how they treat gamers. What they're going to do at E3 with just showing Zelda is ridiculous. Just every decision they make is just unbelievably just either stupid or uninformed, and it just makes no sense, and it just makes me irate because you're like, if you do these simple things, you would probably be doing so much better, but they don't do them, right? And then
Yeah, I feel, yeah, definitely you're right. It's like they feel like that they're at the point that, oh well, we're Nintendo and we'll continue to do it. It's like, no, I mean, yes, you still make good games, but at the same time you're just almost oblivious to the actual market that's out there.
yeah, they're oblivious, and then oh man, they don't look around. You see what Sony's doing, you see what Microsoft's doing, you see all the services they provide and stuff, and then when they try to do the same thing, it's always ass backwards. It's awful. Like the eShop is stupid. They don't have single sign-on done correctly in a way that makes any sort of sense. Like anytime they try to emulate these features, but then Nintendo fans, and they piss me off too, because
Yeah,
the
Nintendo
Nintendo
fans are
zealots,
crazy.
they're crazy, and then they get super excited anytime they announce anything, and I'm always like, you've seen the trends, guys. You know that they're not going to give you whatever you think they're going to give you, and they're going, oh, it's going to be great. Oh my God, it's going to be so amazing, and it's always just an utter disappointment, And they were screaming about Star Fox, right? What did you get? You got shit.
Yeah, exactly. One of the worst games released, like, in who knows how long.
Yeah,
apparently.
it has a shitty control scheme. It's just a rehash of Star Fox 64. I don't care, what does that say or whatever. I know there's a good review on the Coalition. I won't speak about that. And I just think that Miyamoto just wants to do things a certain way. I know he had Platinum Games work on the game in his presence so he could supervise it, and what you got was utter crap. And it's like, you could have given everyone a simple control scheme at least to enjoy the game, and they didn't even do that. They didn't even do that. So, looking at all of that going forward to the NX, how could you possibly think that the NX is going to be some sort of savior system that's going to reinvigorate consoles and whatever they think, They think it's going to be so amazing, it's going to be so powerful, it's good. Based on what?
Yeah, exactly. Look at everything that Nintendo has done for the last 10 years, and how can you tell me with a straight look in your face that the NX is going to be more powerful or be, like, really up to date standards? Come on, guys. Nintendo is the very definition of backwards now, and it's just more ironic because in their eyes, they're forward thinking. They're the last thing. Nintendo hasn't been forward thinking in fucking years. I don't care that, but they have the Wii remote. That thing was a gimmick, and it failed. I know it made a lot of money, but guess what happened? Like 2 years after that, nobody bought that shit anymore.
Yeah, it's because because it was really just because they did that one thing so well, I feel, that nobody felt the need to get anything else with it.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest,
people bought the game.
Like anybody who bought a Wii U, that's those grandmas and grandpas and some of the parents and some people, all they would play was the Wii Sports.
Yeah,
like I even had a friend who was like, yeah, man, I haven't played Nintendo since the Super Nintendo, and man, it was like, it was great to actually play this game, but man, I wish there was another Wii Sports game.
Wow.
So like that's the audience out there, and those people don't have any friggin' brand loyalty.
They don't, they market it to grandmas and little fucking kids.
They market it to grandmas and people, and people who just play a little bit of games here or there, and for them, that is the best title that you could have ever think. They could have literally just made it the Wii Sports console. You couldn't even play any other games on it. Just play Wii Sports, and those people would have been totally happy.
Well, it was the Wii Sports console. What was the biggest selling game other than that? Well, I mean, Wii Sports came with it. It was Wii Fit.
Yeah, Wii Fit. Oh, and the Wiimote game, the one that came with the additional Wiimote. What was that one?
Wii Play.
Yeah, Wii Play. That was the other one.
Those are big selling games, and then that was the mistake of the Blue Ocean strategy. They left behind the core gamer, and they went after this huge expanded audience. We want mom to be a gamer. Guess what? They weren't gonna become core. That's what they were hoping for, and that failed miserably. Mm-hmm. And while you left the core audience behind when you were making Wii Fit and just pushing all that stuff and pushing the lifestyle gaming, guess what the core did? They went over to PlayStation and Xbox. You only had the loyalists stay, and this is what happened when the Wii U came out, and you provided more of the same. Now Grandma and Grandpa are not interested. They have their Wii Sports, or their Wii is sitting in the corner collecting dust, and most of your core left because Microsoft and Sony were providing the games that they wanted to play.
Yeah, the games actual gamers wanted to play, not just grandma who doesn't even care about games. She just wanted to wave her arms around, you know?
Yeah, it was good exercise, you know?
Yeah, Nintendo's just trash, man.
I feel like, this is a simple thing that can be fixed by change of management. You know, you have all these old, you have these old thinkers in there, which yes, they did work at some point, but you need somebody who is forward thinking enough to actually go back to basics for Nintendo. Yeah. Nintendo hasn't had a good to be honest, Nintendo hasn't had a good controller in what, over 10 years?
No, I'm going back further.
20 years?
Nintendo hasn't had a good controller since the Super Nintendo. Let's be honest. The N64 controller was stupid. The GameCube controller was stupid. The Wii U was not even a real controller. It was 2 fucking sticks, you know? And then the Wii U was trash too. I know some of you guys like the GameCube controller. No, I'm sorry. That thing was fucking terrible. You know? It really was.
Well, I think I do. I like the GameCube controller. I think the Wavebird, though, was innovative. They were the first wireless controller. And then Sony and Microsoft came out with their wireless controllers, but Nintendo did it first. And I think that was the last thing they innovated on. Probably that's it.
I mean, yeah, they probably, they literally revolutionized wireless controlling. Because the Wavebird, at that point, was probably the best controlling wireless controller you could get. Wireless controllers had been around for years, but they were all shit compared to that.
Yeah. Yeah, Nintendo, man. Right, so yeah, see, we went off on Nintendo again, but it's justifiable. You know, you have this company that you want to see them do good, but they fuck up at every single turn. So you can't help but be mad at. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's move on.
I mean, again, it's not to say that these guys don't make good games. I mean, like what was it, Captain Toad's Adventure or whatever? That thing was a very good game for the console, but nobody was really paying attention to it because you were still stuck in this world of screens and bullshit. Instead of just giving somebody a no frills controlling console, but with a really great game.
Yeah, and
that's all you need, man.
Yeah, it's not just the word that sets me off. It's just all the stuff around it. All the news that comes out of them is disappointing. And then I deal with I'm always reading gaming news, and I deal with fan articles constantly that are just completely delusional. I read one, this guy was singing the praises of the NX, and I'm like, we know nothing about this system. How can you say these things?
Fanboys, man. Yeah. Shit.
You know, I'm more likely to agree with the Xbox fanboys with their Xbox Next non-stats. I'm more likely buy that than anything anyone's saying about the NX. It's going to be so powerful and all this stuff. You have no information. None of us do. It's ridiculous. They say all this stuff, and it's like you're just setting yourself up for such disappointment when they finally show that thing.
Yeah, but you know what happens, right? As soon as it comes out, these guys are going to be on spin, a spin attack or whatever. You know, they're going to start like, oh no, this is actually great because XXX. I heard dudes defending fucking Star Fox. Actually, if you play long enough, that you get used to the controls. Are you fucking kidding me?
Bad controls are bad controls, guys. Let me tell you something. If your game has bad controls, it gets called out immediately. Any game. There's no game that's like, oh, well, if you get used to the shitty way it plays, then you're fine. Like, no, it plays shitty.
Yeah, no, they try to say that now gamers don't know, they don't know how to play games. That's what's going on. No, Nintendo just made a game with a really bad, shitty control scheme. Here's
the thing. I mean, there's 2 points.
Let's blame everybody but Nintendo.
There's 2 things that happens with also control. There's that point where you want to kind of make the game challenging, but then at the same time, if you're fighting the control based on the insane way that the programmers decided to make the controls, that is a big, that's not cool. It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
A game can be challenging, but you should never feel like the control. You have to literally do hand contortions to actually control a fucking game.
Yeah. Man,
I mean,
Nintendo.
it's like the game Monster Hunter. It's like for years people played that freaking game. They called it the Monster Hunter Claw, right? Because there was no other way to play that
Yeah, the
damn game.
claw. Yeah, exactly. You had to, do. Oh no, but that's the way it controls. Like,
No, I
no,
mean, to be
it's
honest,
bad controls, dude.
that's the probably the biggest reason why it didn't do so well in the states is because
Yeah.
nobody wanted to deal with having to control the goddamn camera with face buttons. And I'm
So
sure that's also why Peace Walker didn't do as well either.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but of course it's fine for the Japanese. They like that. I don't know. It's weird.
No, I mean
Hey,
they're willing to forgive that sort of stuff, but I don't think that the Westerners are willing to just for the sake of being able to play a game, they'll put that all aside.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
you. I want to play the games like comfortably. You look, Dark Souls 3 is a hard fucking game. It doesn't challenge me by having me do like gestures with the DualShock 4 or anything stupid like that. You can just control the game normally. Same, I'm sure the same with Doom. Same with many other games. You just control. I played Halo. It controls normally. Like none of them require you to do crazy antics, right? We don't want gimmicks anymore, right? It's tired. So saying that, oh, you just don't know how to play the game right, is a fucking stupid argument. I am tired of hearing it.
yeah. It's again, blame everybody but Nintendo.
You're
You know.
doing it all wrong.
All right, let's move on here before we get even crazier. Do you think Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare will be releasing on the old generation systems this year? They
No,
already confirmed that they're not going to be
Yeah,
coming out.
no.
that's the
You
easy answer.
Yeah. Oh, they already confirmed it, so don't worry about that. But I know why he asked it because remember, the last Call of Duty game, it had the multiplayer on fucking last gen. That's why he's asking that. But no, no. All right. So last question by Killax. Do you think this E3 will wow us like last year? What can a company do? This is the fun part. What can a company do this E3 that will make you tear up? And he predicts what these companies can do to make us tear up. I think he means both good and bad ways. He goes, Tony, another open world game. Manny, a new Metal Gear game. Chris, Nintendo is for the players. Brett, Dark Souls 3 DLC, and Brian, he predicts that everything he predicted came true. Yeah, yeah, Manny,
I,
would you tear up if they got another Metal Gears?
Not really. I'm not gonna say that I'm done with the Metal Gear series, but I'm gonna say that Kojima's had his time. He's closed the door already. He's gonna move on to the next thing. I think hearing about Kojima's next game would make me do something, but maybe not
Yes.
tear.
No, not creative. You'll react in your way.
I'll react in my way. I've never gotten very emotional over announcements, really. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, when I heard that they were gonna finally, when Shenmue was being announced at the last Sony conference, I was like, that is cool, and we're like, oh my god, this is cool. We're
That's
not,
no. That was you and all of us, except for Charles.
except for
This dude was
Charles.
like,
Charles looked like he was gonna friggin' leap off the fucking stands onto the stage.
yeah.
You know.
And please mind that Charles is normally a pretty reserved dude.
Yeah, yeah. So like he
Yeah.
was like, let me just say, it was like between hip hop. We didn't even hear fucking hip hop because usually you could hear hip hop even on the casts.
Yeah,
No,
20,000 people. He's the loudest guy there.
he's the loudest guy there. I feel like Charles was like the loudest guy there.
Yeah, man. When you told him Shenmue and Final Fantasy, he lost his shit.
Hmm.
Yeah. To answer the first part of the question, no way they're gonna top last year's E3. Last year's E3 was Half-Life 3 short of being fanfic. Like they announced everything for that fucking. You had Fallout, you had fucking Shenmue, you had Final Fantasy, you had The Last Guardian. No way this year's gonna top that shit. No fucking way. To answer the other part though, yeah, I guess announcing like 50 more open world games will make me tear up, but not in a good way. It's like, oh, why? Why was I programmed to feel pain?
If anything, I would like to see some more linear games. Let's stop it with the open worlds. Well, not stop it. We're just cool it on the open world games, man. It's all good.
Dude, I played Quantum Break, I played Uncharted, I'm playing Doom, and I love it. No open world stuff. It's just very deliberately designed games. I miss that shit. You know, why can't we have that? Everything has to be fucking open world.
I
When
tell you,
I'm playing Doom, like I understand how everything was built and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this was deliberate. This is not, hey, let's make a realistic factory. It wasn't. It's not like that. It's like, let's make an interesting game world. You know, it's like, yes, some of the shit doesn't make sense, but it's cool because you still understand it as a gamer. You know what they're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. I'm glad this year we're finally getting shit like that.
I mean, I played like Uncharted for like 16 hours. Great game. You know, and I'd like to see some more, more games that are a little bit more, controlled, a little more than that.
Yeah, because last year was fucking nuts, dude. It was too
much.
Like,
come on, literally on the same fucking day, you have Mad Max and friggin' Metal Gear.
Yeah, like come on, guys, and then like a month after that. Games? Yeah, then a month after that, you had fucking Assassin's Creed and what was it? Shit, I'm forgetting the game. Assassin's Creed, Fallout. Yeah, it's like come on, and then after that, you had motherfucking Just Cause, and then before that, you had Batman. You had fucking The Witcher. It's like really.
It was like literally open world year.
That was the damn bursting.
Yeah, that was a damn bursting.
But then you look at a game like Bloodborne, and then you look at Dark Souls, right? And those games, they obviously they feel very open, but they're not really open.
Well, thank you for mentioning Dark Souls. Another game, very deliberately, constructed game.
Yeah, like the way, at least the way. I haven't played the new Dark Souls games, but I know in general that FromSoft likes to make these games that kind of bend and fold over each other, which is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So this year we're getting a good amount of like Ratchet and Clank 2, another one. We're getting a good amount of like single player games finally. After like a glut of all this like open world nonsense. And I'm the dude that loved open world, but even I got fucking sick of it. By the time I got to Just Cause 3, I'm like, I'm skipping all the side shit. Just get the story out of the way. I'm not dealing with all this nonsense.
You guys know me. I'm not like a big open worldy guy, and I just I prefer to play a more honed, condensed experience, and that's part of the reason why I don't. That's part of the reason why I didn't invest in Fallout. It's like, yes, you have a lot of freedom, but at the same time, I don't feel like I know how I am. I'm going to get obsessive, and I'm going to start looking in every single nook and cranny. I'm going to be there. I ain't got time for that shit. I got work to do.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, that's the reason I don't play MMOs. I know how I get, man. I'll go nuts. So forget that noise. All right. Next up, actually, last guy here, Mr. QTB Branch. He goes, "Hi everyone. Just one last minute question. I wasn't able to post last week." He's the dude that always posts like titles to these things. So this one is Better Botanist Bureau. Can modern video game AI ever reach the level of Deep Blue or Watson to satisfy the single player experience? Or will multiplayer real-time human interactions dominate the future market? I like that question. So basically, will AI ever get to a point where it's just as good as like a multiplayer, like single player like other person, basically? Here's the thing.
I don't think so. I think it's by choice.
I know exactly what you're gonna say. This is why they probably could make AI smarter, but then the game's gonna become so hard that you're not gonna be able to play it. You know what I'm saying? They need to find that balance between, giving you a challenge, but letting you actually be able to overcome it. If they make an AI as smart as a human player, you're not going to be able to beat that shit. I remember in Virtua Fighter 2, I'm taking it back, they actually had this mode where basically the computer copies you, It got to a point where I couldn't beat the shit. If you set that mode right, I'm like, damn, these guys are whipping my ass because it was playing like me. It was and playing as everybody else who plays that game too. So they like Manny said, they dumb down the AI on purpose. My only hope is, can you make it so less obvious? Like Uncharted 4, a great game. The AI is fucking dumb as shit.
Yeah.
They are stupid. You could literally run up to them and they'll be like, "Huh? What's going on?" Until they realize you're in front of them.
Yeah. No, can you imagine playing Metal Gear Solid 5 if every soldier played like a person?
Oh shit.
You would be dead. Like, you would be able to sneak around anywhere. The minute someone hears a noise, it's like somebody's crawling in the grass, because that's how you would think if you were playing one of the soldiers.
Yeah, and each game, when it comes to this stuff, it comes to that level where there's the level of fun, and there's that challenge, but not so much challenge where it feels impossible. Right. And I think that's what they're doing. But I mean, you have. I mean, also, speaking of bots, you remember the days when when a lot of the games used to have, those multiplayer games used to have bots in them, like where
Yeah,
you'd be like, okay, I can't. It's like, okay, this is a 10-on-10 team thing, and I can't get fucking 10 people to be on each side. So you fill out the rest of the ones with bots who actually kind of learn how to play. You can't even do that anymore.
Yeah,
yeah,
no. But I think I don't know. Deep Blue and Watson aren't they're like supercomputers, so you're not gonna have that kind of processing power. I think he's just talking about quality. That's what we've been
yeah,
talking about. You're never gonna have a game able to access that kind of hardware. That whatever Watson is using is like some kind of multi-tiered server cloud shit where he has thousands of processors and whatever going on. So that kind of stuff will never happen. But do we want it to happen? No, because I honestly, if Dark Souls 3, if every enemy played it like a damn invader,
oh
you would
shit,
never beat that damn game. It would be so frustrating. Imagine every enemy playing like a guy who invaded your game, being that clever. Rolling and ducking you and watching your moves, figuring out how you move, and thinking like the game would be so fucking hard. Nobody would have beat that game by now. You
yeah.
know?
But I would propose have that level of difficulty as a separate option. You know what I mean? Like, because the thing is, when you play a game at hard, right? The AI isn't any smarter. It's just as stupid. The only difference is you take more health. They have more health. You know what I mean? So how about I would propose if you're going to do it right, you have a hard mode where the enemy, like basically, and this is what I loved about the very, very first Uncharted game. It was actually like this. The enemies actually got smarter. You could still kill them in one hit if you got a headshot in, and you still take the same amount of damage. But if they just got smarter, they obviously changed this with Uncharted 2 and 3 and 4, where you just get weaker and they get stronger. That's, to me, that's cheap. That's a cheap way out. If you want to do it right, have that as an option. I know they could do it, so why not provide that challenge? Because, I totally agree with you, Chris, that Dark Souls 3 would be unplayable, but there are people out there that would actually like that. So why not give them that option too,
Yeah. No, that would be good. I mean, to not have it like, oh, New Game Plus is just you are now weaker than everyone else got stronger, right? That's
Yeah,
all it is. Everyone hits way harder every time you go up another level. So it's like, but what if they played smarter? And that would be a huge challenge for the developers too. Like, coding AI isn't easy, so
yeah,
that would be a huge challenge for them to do that. And I mean, that would add so much time to the development, but
yeah. Like I
that might be
understand
good
why
to
they go.
see.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I understand why they do it. Like you said, it takes a lot of time and stuff, but it would be nice, man. It would be nice. You
Sure.
know, shit. We got through the show.
Yeah.
You burned through it. No Brett here. With the soapbox. Um, all right, so a couple of things here before we end things up. So make sure to check out the spoiler alert we did for Uncharted 4. I
Yes.
realize a lot of you guys haven't beaten the game yet. That's why the show's not really getting that many views. So
Yes.
hopefully, when you beat the game, you guys will check it out. That show turned out to be way better than I thought it was going to be. We had
Yes.
our boy Earthbender Charlie on, and he,
Hmm.
he's one of those that really analyzes things deeply. So he said a lot of interesting things that made it gave Manny and I a lot to work with. So very,
Hmm.
very good show. Definitely check that out, and it's worth it. For a great game. And then also got I plugged it earlier. I'm going to plug it again. Check out the latest episode of the Weapon Wheel podcast. I was on it with the fellas. Okay, Throwdown gets crazy. We're a tame show compared to these guys. These guys are fucking nuts, and I loved every second of it. They're talking trash, man. Like it's just totally. Actually, they're crazier than the Warzone too somehow. BG Ken, I give you props for keeping that show as controlled, quote unquote, as you can, because that shit gets nuts. But I understand why it has such a big fan base. It's a really fun show, and I'm glad Ken had me on to be on there again. Hopefully, we'll have Ken back on in the future and stuff. He was a great guest on Throwdown as well. All right, so that is it. So thank you for watching and listening. Leave us your questions in the comment section on the Coalition or on YouTube so we can answer them on next week's show. Be sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Also help support the site by donating to our Patreon page. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and the YouTubes. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, joined by Emilio Lopez.
Yo, man, a 36-year-old Emilio Lopez.
Yeah, man, it's your birthday, motherfucker.
Well, not anymore. Now it's Monday. Well, at least
Yeah.
on our time. But yes. Yay.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah. Birthday, man. And of course, Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
All right, guys, we'll see you around on Throwdown 85. Later.
Peace.